Welcome, ye hearty few, for you have chosen to forego the material shortcut offered to you in the last video, and instead you have chosen to stick with me and build a landscape material from scratch. Now, we're not going to have it completed by the end of this video or even the next video, but we will start chipping away at it bit by bit because it can be a little bit scary and intimidating. Now, first things first, before we get started, we do need to add on some free marketplace content to build out our material. So why don't you head on over to the Epic Games launcher, and in here you want to make sure you are under the Unreal Engine tab and across the top in the marketplace. And there's a few content packs I'd like you to add to your project. The first one being Infinity Blade Grasslands, and you could search for these by typing it in the search bar up here. And to add this, you're going to click on the Add to Project button, find your current project. Mine is this landscape project. That's the one we're working on. And then clicking the Add to Project button. Now, at some point in the future, if your engine version is not supported, you can still click on this Add to Project button and click on Show All Projects to show any version of the project that may not be supported by this asset pack, and you will be able to install the most recent version of that asset pack. Now, also at some point in the future, if they don't have this asset pack is no longer available, that's okay. You can seek out some other asset packs. I'm just going to tell you the ones we're using to start with. And then if you want to choose some other ones down the road, that is fine. I'll tell you kind of what we're looking for in just a second here. So I want you to add on the Infinity Blade Grasslands, and then jumping over to my notes here, you're going to want to grab another one called Open World Demo Collection. And then you're going to want to add on another one here called Paragon, and I'm going to butcher this, Agora and Monolith Environment. Those are the three that have some texture assets in them that we're going to be using to build out our landscape material. Now, if these go away at some point in the future, essentially what we're looking for is some asset packs that have a mud texture, a grass, a gravel, a path sort of texture, a rock texture, a snow texture, and then some sort of a walkway texture, like I have cobblestone that we're going to be making use of. So that's essentially what we're going for. So go ahead and install those now. And when you have them in your content browser, they will be listed as such. And I've highlighted them down here in my sources panel, which I can show or hide with this button. It'll be Infinity Blade Grasslands. The open world demo will then be known as the Kite demo folder. And the Agora Monolith one from Paragon will just be known as the Paragon Props folder. So those are the three folders you should see added to your content browser once you have finished adding those to your project. All right, and once those have all finished being added, we can go about creating a brand new material. So we are going to be doing this in a landscapes materials folder, and you probably do not have this folder created yet because for those that took the shortcut, we created this materials folder. And the way you can go about creating this folder is by right-clicking on your landscapes folder, clicking new folder right here, and name it materials like you see here. So in this pathway, content, landscapes, materials, we're going to be creating a brand new material. This is the one that the shortcut people have. We're going to create our own. Right-click. You're going to come under the right-click menu and select material, and we're going to call ours m_material_created. And once you've got that created, let's double-click on it to open it up. I'm just going to dock this right across the top here. We see a lone master material node and nothing but empty graph space for us to start building something out. Okay, the first step here is we're going to right-click in some empty space and do a search for the word landscape. And as we start to type in the word land, you can see there's several landscape-related nodes. And the one we're looking for right off the bat here is this landscape layer blend node. Go ahead and select that. Now what this node does is it uses an array to store information about different landscape layers that we get to name. So with this selected, over on the left-hand side, we can see that we can add more elements to our array here. And I'm going to click this 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And you can see some new inputs have been added to this landscape layer blend node. Now, there is a collapsible series of parameters underneath each of these different elements. If you right-click on your topmost layers right here, you can say expand all, and that'll make all of these different elements easily viewable, which I recommend because we're going to go about naming all of these. So, the names that you should grant each of these are as follows. The topmost one we will call mud. The next layer down we will name grass. Note that that is element 1. I'm naming grass. Element 2 here, I'm going to name, let me flip my page of notes. I want to make sure I'm going in order. Gravel. Element 3, next one down, we're going to call path. And as you see, I'm adding these names. It's updating our layer blend node to have each of these different labels. Under element 4, we're going to change the layer name to rock. Element 5, we're going to call this snow. And then element 6, we will call cobblestone. Okay, and flipping back some pages of notes here. I'm going to scroll back up in my layer blend node. Now, below each of these layer names, we have a blend type. Now, you have the option of a weight blend, an alpha blend, and a height blend. Now, this is not going to mean much to you now, but for most of our layers, we're going to go with a height blend. And what a height blend is going to mean is that as we blend, say, grass with cobblestone, we will get to see a gradual difference between these two. So you could have, say, 80% cobblestone, 20% grass, and you'll see the grass kind of filling in the gaps between the cobblestone. So most all of our layers are going to be this height blend. However, we're going to set our mud layer here to be an alpha blend. And the sole reason we are going to do this is because there are some issues that can appear with the look of your landscape layers if one of them is not labeled as an alpha blend. That's from the Unreal Engine documentation. So if you want to know why one of them is alpha blend, it's just to avoid a known issue with some of these landscape layers. All right, with these other ones, the grass, we're going to change the blend type to be height blend. Same thing with the gravel, height blend. Path, height blend. Rock, height blend. Snow, height blend. And cobblestone, lastly, height blend. And you'll notice that as we change the blend type over to height blend, now we've got two different inputs for all of our various layers that are labeled as a height blend. The mud layer does not. So each of our different layer types is going to have two inputs here that we are going to be inputting stuff into over time. Okay, next thing we are going to do is move this node up a little bit in our graph because we are going to duplicate this. Select this node, hit Control-C, and then Control-V. Now, why are we doing this? Well, eventually, we're going to be plugging in some different texture samples into each of these layer blend nodes. Into this top layer blend node, we're going to be plugging in textures for our grass, gravel, path, etc. And these are going to eventually end up being plugged into our base color. And that's going to be the main look of our different textures. The textures we plug into this layer blend node down here are going to be plugged into our normal input. And those are going to be different versions of our different textures up here. Something called normal maps that kind of give the illusion of depth to these different layers. So cobblestone without a normal map is going to look rather flat. A normal cobblestone texture will give it an illusion of depth. Now, before we wrap up this video, I just wanted to make mention that with one of these layer blend nodes selected, you can choose to click on one of these layers, click that little triangle right there, and you can choose to insert a new one, delete it, or duplicate this layer. Alternatively, if I scroll all the way up to the top and I right click right about here, I can collapse all layers. And then I'm just going to click this triangle to show it in this view. You can grab any one of these, and I'm left clicking right here, and you can reorder these as you see fit. So I'm going to take what is my cobblestone layer, place it way up at the top, and now you can see my layer blend node has updated. But I actually want that one at the bottom, so I'm going to left click and drag it on down to the very bottom. All right, guys, we have our landscape material started. A lot more work to do. Let's go ahead and save what we have built thus far. More work to be done in the next video, but that will do it all for this one. See you in the next one.